Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play Nioh 2. We are finishing up the second half of the Hollow Fortress mission today, which will see us infiltrating Inabayama Castle. Before we go up in there, we have a little Sudama buddy. Probably just gonna give him a lantern, plant fruit, and... oh yeah, there are dwellers nearby that I aggroed. That is so rude! They threw a rock at my little cute buddy! And then we also have to watch these two dwellers here. The problem is not them so much as the Snow Cyclops, who's going to push an icy boulder down the hill at us. If you're careful with your positioning, you can avoid it in that little alcove and have it take care of the dwellers for you. Then you just have to fight the Cyclops. And these enemies are not too difficult to fight. I found them to be harder in Nioh 1. I don't know if it's just because I had less experience with them, or if they've slowed down and become a little bit less aggressive now. They still pack a punch, which is good because that's nearly all they do. They will also drop kick you, and that drop kick has deceptive range, but it's not too bad to avoid. I've said the same thing about the Tengu in Nioh 2 compared to the first game, that I find them a little bit easier to deal with and more manageable. And I don't know if that's just an experience thing or not. So, while we make our way through this snowy exterior to the innards of the castle... oh yeah, you can see the little Amrita bridge up there too. I'm going to be turning around occasionally every time I pass under a walkway, because I know somewhere around here there are some dwellers throwing rocks, and then in other spaces there are archers who will try to pincer you. So I'm going to try to be mindful of that. Once you lock on, you can tell that it's going to be a Roku Rakubi, the snake-headed enemies, because of the purple health bar. Or I mean the purple stamina gauge instead of their usual stamina. Let's see, we're going to deal with the dweller. Probably going to summon a snake, which will finish him and do a little bit of damage to the Rakubi. Luckily, we managed to get it down to about a third of its health before the snake even popped, so we can just go to town. Grab's not too bad to avoid. I tend to err on the side of either relentless aggression against those or playing extremely timid, depending on how much damage I can do before things really pop off. We see some more interesting features of this level in the way it splits and forks in so many different spots. So I have the route through this that I'm going to take planned out, but I'm going to try to show some of the ways that this branches. These enemies, again, relentless aggression, because you can bully them and lock them down really easy, and if you don't bully them, they can do some annoying things. They love their fireballs, the homing fireballs, like homing crystal soul mass, kind of. But they track way more aggressively than that. Oh shit. I need to dash to put the fire out. Stop, drop, and roll action. I love that that's a mechanic. Like the way you reduce the debuff timer for being on fire is just dashing around. Makes it feel pretty hectic, too. Especially if you're doing that while an enemy's still up. This, look how much that tracks. It'll almost double back on me. So we just don't want to give it the chance to do that a second time. Oh, that is a Nurikabe! I was thinking earlier, but I was just not... whoa! Not paying it enough mind. I forgot there was even a Nurikabe here, actually. I know there's one later in the level. Oh, and that's before we open the shortcut up. Ah! It was a bit of a silly mistake. You can see how hard they hit, too. So, friendly behavior. Friendly behavior, or attacking it directly, will get our asses kicked. But, if you can narrow it down from the other two options in gestures, neutral or aggressive behavior, it'll simply disappear and let you access this convenient hot spring. Then we can continue our climb up, and our traversal over all of the stone and Amrita-laden bridges, so we can actually unlock the first shortcut of this half of the level. And as you saw before, there's a lot of snaking pathways, this forks a lot. There are the dwellers somewhere around here. Where are you at? Ah, there are the dwellers just throwing rocks. Literally just meant to be a hindrance while you're fighting other things. And then if we trace the path back down, we come to this interior area in the part of the castle that we started the level in, which I think is just super cool because this is an entirely different part of the zone. We're not just doubling back. Oh, I want to make sure you don't start that attack. That's the only thing that makes these enemies really annoying. Because once they start that, you have to dodge around and you have to respect it a little bit. And that just gives them time to do more stuff. But if you lock them down from the get-go, they aren't that scary. This gives us access to a couple of things that we could see in the distance the first time we were in this area. But now that we're coming at this from the other side, we have a lot more options. In fact, you can follow this path fairly deep in and even drop back to where we were earlier. It's a neat little branch on top of a bunch of paths that we've already seen fork around. Fork around and find out! So by now, you might have picked up on this. I know a couple of people in the comments did. But think about Princess Nioh real quick. N-O-H. She was the woman introduced with Oda Nobunaga. She had these white streaks in her bangs. I'm not messing around with this. I know how the last fight with an Enki on a cliffside went for me, so no thanks. I'm not going to fork around and find out this time. Yeah, she had those white streaks in her bangs, and she had an ice motif going, like we saw those crystalline frozen butterflies. Well, we saw those butterflies in a stage in Nioh 1. This, by the way, is the shortcut ladder. Drops us right back down to the shrine we started the level in, or the episode in, and allows us to continue further up. Just winds around. The stage that we saw those butterflies in Nioh 1 was Yuki-Ana's stage. Yuki-Ana being one of my favorite bosses from Nioh 1. She was the one with the Naginata, and obviously all the ice theme moves. Just a great fight, greatly tuned. Cool moveset, cool boss. Got to talk about Naginatas, which I don't know when this happened, but they somehow became a special interest of mine. And the reason for this connection is because Princess Nioh and Yuki-Ana are one and the same. And it's such a cool little connection, and a great return for one of my favorites too. She's the daughter of Saito Dosan, and originally named Kicho. Princess Nioh, or Nohime, was a formal title given to her used to... there's the one I was thinking of. It's used to denote her heritage of being from Mino province. Both Nioh 1 and Nioh 2 play with that folklore, and the rumors about how Dosan told her to assassinate Oda Nobunaga if he turned out to be as big of a fool as the rumors said. I think that's in both the game and it's an actual... I don't want to say recorded historical fact, but I think it's pretty heavily rumored and circulated among historians. And so for those confused about the timeline here, or who have been wondering about it, I think that should clear things up a little bit. But just a little. Because this is a prequel? Kinda. It's actually a little bit of everything. It starts as a prequel, and then eventually we catch up to the events of Nioh 1, so this game is contemporary with it. And then later in the game, we'll be taken beyond the Siege of Osaka from the end of Nioh 1. This Anki is not too bad. The bigger problem with this Anki is the situational awareness that you need to not venture too far beyond this little arena you're meant to fight him in, because if you get into line of sight down the path, you can aggro additional enemies, and then it becomes a problem. So I threw salt in his eyes. Salt inflicts a status ailment that messes with yōkai called purification or purity. And it also destroys their ki pretty heavily. So I just wanted to make sure that I could rush him down. And from that, we get the castle gate key, which will open up that gate, which was to the right of the large stairway ascending into the castle proper. So I'm going to show that path off, but the main route that I was planning on taking is the direct route through the stairs to the left. I'm going to go up there later. First, we're going to show this, though, because this actually does offer a completely different route through the upcoming part of the level, which I think is super cool. It lets you skip a bunch of stuff. You can double back from it to activate a different shrine, which we're going to see from the frontal entrance into the castle. I just like this a bunch. Also, I've been sitting on another cool way that this game blends history and fiction together. And this one is more directly related to our playable character. There we can see. I love that, like, it's so lucha libre. That's our backstab, which I picked up off screen for the Switch Glaive. I'm probably going to end up doing an intermission where I show off a bunch of the detailed and complex menu stuff and some of the subsystems that aren't super important, but end up mattering in some particular way, or things that aren't like super exciting to see, like the dojo missions where you unlock deeper parts of each skill tree's sphere grid. So from this point on, once we open this door, we have free reign of Inabayama Castle. We can go anywhere that we could have gone from the front entrance now. Except if we had gone in from the front, we wouldn't have been able to open that door up that we just opened. Which precludes us from getting a bunch of stuff. So we're going to backtrack now so we can head around to the front side and go up that way. So yeah, this thing that I've been sitting on is related to our main playable character, who's been referred to a bunch of times as Hide. More specifically, in a way, we are playing as Hideyoshi Toyotomi, one of Japan's 3 great unifiers. The entire reason why we can have a character creation in this game, though, and still play what is technically Hideyoshi Toyotomi, is because, while still having a little bit of historical consistency, I should say, is because Nioh 2 says, well, what if Hideyoshi Toyotomi wasn't one person, but 2, who adopted a singular name for their partnership? So it's our companion Tokichiro, the merchant with a monkey guardian spirit, and our character, Hide. And I think that rules. I think that is a really smart and clever way to do this. He kind of clipped through me and I got lucky. I don't think that would have killed, but hey, I'll take that. And unfortunately, the Snow Cyclops is not the main generator for the Dark Realm inside the bottom, oh no, this is the ground floor of the castle. There is a basement level we'll be heading to, because that's where we actually need to go in order to dissipate the Dark Realm. Oh! Okay. I made a couple of mistakes there. Thinking that he was a little slower than he was, underestimating his range, and underestimating how much damage he could put out. Woo! I got myself in a small pickle because I ran past the ogre just to get back to this, and looks like he did de-aggro. And you also have to be careful because there's so many blind corners created by all the walls and open doorways that often the adjacent rooms will be populated. So if you are not careful, like in so many other spots in this level, you can aggro additional enemies and make problems way worse for yourself. I believe that this is another Roku Rokubi because of the purple bar. It's a yokai of some sort. Or rather, it should be? Was it not? Okay, I've lost my tell. I thought... Okay. I thought the ones with the purple anima gauge were always yokai, and usually the ones disguised as humans are Roku Rokubis. Interesting. Before we go downstairs, I'm going to sneak up on this boy. That was not the full animation. Sometimes it can be a bit... Is that death? A bit janky. I'm going to take down to fire a little. Okay, not twice. I forgot that their grab range was so large because I see that attack so rarely. They never like using it against me, except when I am recording. Some dicey things happening in Inabayama Castle today. Lord Yoshitatsu. Let's just shoot this boy in the head. Oh yeah, there's the Roku Rokubi. So that Yoshitatsu they were referring to is Saito Yoshitatsu, who we are storming the castle to fight. I just realized both of my yokai abilities are snake-based. This is a snake-themed playthrough. I love how, while in the Dark Realm, I have additional horns. Because I already have some from my, oh god, what is it, Goryuki? My yokai helmet. So I have double the sets of horns now. Also, I'm wearing this yellow merchant set, which the chest piece is the same thing that you see Tokichiro wearing. And I'm wearing that because I get a 3-piece set bonus for having 3 items of the merchant set that gives me extra Amrita. There was about to be the dropkick. That was a razor-thin margin to avoid getting kicked. Wait, did the Anki do it too? I didn't even think about that. That looked like it was about to be a dropkick. Never ever let this boy get out of the corner unless he just gets pushed out while I'm beating ass. He might have almost got some fire off, but that's not a big deal. And the Karoka is what we actually needed to defeat in order to purify the basement and the bottom floor of the ground floor of the castle. So now we have access to this shrine, which is pretty conveniently located. It's not too far off from the boss. We're going to clear the next 2 floors slowly and methodically, fight the boss, and if need be, if a run back is needed, then it's actually pretty quick just running past enemies that you would normally stop to clear out on a first go. So let's see, it's up from here, and then there's this floor and one other above us that's fairly small. And this is about where we would rejoin... Oh shit. He's not even gonna get away. He's not even gonna get hit by that. What I just used was a Guardian... I think they're called Guardian Force Talismans, which just performs your... Oh, I always get fucked up by that! The delay is so big! I was messing around a little bit too much. Yeah, it just summons your guardian spirit to do an attack for you, based on whichever spirit it is. Sometimes they are way more useful than others. Like, eventually I'm gonna have to part ways with my good friend the shark. Oh, shit. Well, Not too big of a deal. Just go aggressive, try to drain his stamina as best I can. I don't want to push him into that room because I can't remember if there's another enemy in there. Now he's low enough that I'm okay taking that risk. Cool, cool, cool. And it was just a chest in here. And a malevolent grave, which we won't be activating. Sometimes if you want to farm items, they can be really good sources, plus they are reliable, and you can tell what they're going to drop ahead of time. There's that full animation. But otherwise, I don't really find it to be the best use of my time to activate them. Let's not fuck this up. Okay. He stopped that one pretty short. It's the axe enemies that have that, and I think it's the ones with the odachis. The delay is so ridiculous. You're like, surely, if I dodge now, this late, the timing will be perfect. No. And so behind us, we have another Nurikabe. Before we go and do many, many gestures at him, we're gonna pop this because it's another Roku Rokubi. Salt didn't do me any favors there. I think I'm gonna back off behind line of sight on the stairs because that can't reach me there. Because remember, Nioh 2, attacks do not hit you if you are not directly in line of sight, even if they clip through whatever you're using to line of sight the enemies. So it gave us plenty of time to pop that antidote before the poison could really tick us down. He doesn't like friendly. Let's see how he likes neutral. He's good with it. And that works out really well because we didn't even have a bloody grave saying, you know, this guy was killed by the Nurikabe for his X behavior. We didn't even have that as a clue. So that's a 1 in 3 chance, and then a 1 in 2. This is the top floor of Inabayama Castle, and it is where we are going to be fighting the boss of the level. Okay, this guy is being a little bit stubborn with his blocking, and we weren't chipping him away enough, so just give him a chance to attack, open himself up, expose his own weaknesses, and we are good. We can now go fight Saito. Saito Yoshitatsu, like us, is a shiftling. Whew! Don't see him open up with that too often. I didn't get a chance to buff. And I did get afflicted with that frost status, so I'm gonna have to be a little careful. Oh, I love the after trail on that! The after images, that's always such a cool effect. That's one of my favorite effects in any game. You give something a cool shadow trail or something, and I am in. I was talking about that in the Panzer Paladin quick look. And immediately, we are into our first Yokai Realm phase. Our first one against a humanoid enemy, too. And this is the brute form that he takes, which is, I think, the harder of the two that he can do. Because remember, he had 2 guardian spirits. Something a little bit unique about Saito. Oh, shit. I was trying to power through that last little bit. That's okay. We can run that back, no problem. This time, I can actually buff my weapon right at the start. And if I am aggressive enough, I can just... Oh, shit. Gotta watch that. I can bully him and afflict that lightning status early and really slow him down. I'm gonna put the brakes on this boy. It's already about 3/4 of the way up. Just gotta dodge that. And he uses both of those guardian spirits liberally. Shit, lost stamina. You can bully this dude, you just have to be a little careful. Also, the more you bully him... Oh, we didn't even get to do a visceral attack. The more you bully him when he's in a non-yōkai form, the more likely he is to try to initiate one of his short-range grab attacks. So you just gotta back off and watch that a little bit. Pulled right out of that phase. And now we've seen both of his different yōkai forms. Not only does he get 2 guardian spirits, he gets to use each of them for a different yōkai form. You can do some more bullying. God, we're just mauling him. I'm kind of glad I died on that first attempt. It gave me more time to talk about the boss. And now, I want to make sure that he does show off both of these in the fight. So I can take it a little less seriously now. He was only 1 hit from death. Oh, I think that's quite fun. It's way more interesting of a duel against a humanoid enemy than the one against our friend the Elephant Man. And he can even do something that we can't, that we aren't capable of. 2 different yōkai forms. So, Saito Yoshitatsu is the other progeny of Saito Dosan, which makes them our character's twin. As such, their gender and face will always match yours when you fight them. And the 2 yōkai forms that he takes are whichever ones that you didn't take in the beginning. And remember I was saying we weren't capable of doing that? Of taking 2 different yōkai forms? 2 active guardian spirits? Well, there should have been a yet on there, because now we can. I love how willing Nioh 2 is to consistently throw new mechanics and small systems at you. It keeps things fresh. Thank you all for watching. Take it easy. Have a good one, y'all.